In what respects? How do I feel about things?
Future as manager.
Yeah, I think obviously the board are meeting next week. So they have a decision to make, and I respect whatever that decision is. Of course, it'd be a dream to carry on and manage a team. Of course, what my instinct is that's not going to happen. That's my own instinct, and that's the evidence suggests that probably won't happen. So I would. So So I respect that as well.
How does that sit with you that this might be the final night then as our manager?
Well, if it is, so be it. I think, from my point of view, there's no greater honour than to manage your country. It's a huge privilege. It was an emotional dressing room with the players there. I think it's. I think 90% of the players, over 95% of the players, their careers are only on an upward trajectory, only going to improve as players, as individuals, because so many great people there. And some of the experienced players, obviously, as well, have been a great influence on them. So I think, so it's been a privilege in that regard, greatest honour you can have. What you do, whatever you did in life, it will be a step down, no matter what you did. But that's the way it is. The support I've had throughout the country, I'm indebted for. Great support. Support we've had here at the Aviva, magnificent support, and away fixtures, and really right throughout the country. I've been inundated with support, really, even in my reign. I go to airports and just people come up to you. They don't just say, "Can I have a photograph?" They say, "I just love what you do, what you're doing, what you've done with the team in terms of what you're trying to do." And we know that you've had setbacks, and we have had a lot of setbacks, and I suppose that's why I'm that's why I'm not getting a new contract if that's the case. So because international football is ruthless, and that's the nature of it, and but that's I know that. I understood that, but that's the way it is. I don't want to have to explain or articulate every line, but that's. I've always sort of been a big picture person, rather than build something step by step. I think you sort of have to see what the picture is, and then see what you can achieve and what can be attained, and then work towards that. That's the way I see life, and so I suppose it's a sort of reference to that, really, and when you do that and you set the bar high, your fall can be acute. You can certainly, and that's the nature of how I've always managed, really. And I think it leads you to incredible highs and setbacks, and so that's the nature of how I see things.
Do you think life would have been easier for you as Ireland manager had you not set the bar that high?
Yeah, of course, but I think I've never not done that, and I don't mean that as a self acclaim or of some kind of badge of honour. I don't mean that. You can only be true to yourself.
Ed, please. Let's finish the live.
Stephen, I suppose just if you are at a stage now where it's a case of
Mm.
looking back at interesting area of your career, what highlights would jump out at you in terms of your tenure here as a senior manager?
Yeah, I think, seeing these players, working with them every day was just like, obviously, it's been incredible, really, and I think even games that we didn't win, I think are highlights for me. Portugal away, which I'll always have to live with, in terms of conceding those late goals right in injury time, and games here with Portugal, which was an outstanding game of football here. I felt the draw. Serbia here coming back at a third game in 6 days on her knees, because at different stages of the last few years, I've been under pressure a lot in that period, and I think maybe people speculate it was only one game away a few times, and that could have been the truth. I don't know. You know what I mean? I sort of it did feel like that sometimes, but they never in the dressing room or in the inner sanctity of the dressing room, never so. Apart from the initial COVID, first couple of months, which were really, really a difficult period. But I think, I think it's a great dressing room now. I think, honestly, I think when I review even last 18 months, and I had probably 8 or 9 players in League One, between Derby, Wigan and MK Dons and Darrell at Wickham, and we had a lot of players in various at times, and was at a lot of League One games. And now, and then even in the space from this year and last year, now we've 7 or 8 in the Premier League, and I feel that's possibly going to improve again. And I feel you have to be playing at the highest level, not have to be, but it helps. You don't have to, of course, but it certainly helps the more players that are playing at the highest level. And definitely, I feel the squad in Group B in the Nations League next year, and with the experience they have now, will acquit themselves very well. And that's how I see it, with players not here tonight like Nathan Collins, and he was a real excellent player. And the forwards, Chidozie Ogbeni and Michael Obafemi, if he gets back fit, have a real cutting edge players, and obviously the players that didn't play today. I think overall there's a sort of a depth, because obviously we made 9 changes and it wasn't a good performance today. We're not going to pretend it was, but I think the second half particularly, obviously some highlights in the first half of Mikey Johnson particularly, but so that's massive highlights in terms of the games against Scotland, of course. Here, the game against Scotland in Hampden, I thought we were very good in that game. France here was exceptional, and should have won. Could have picked a different team to win tonight. Possibly played O'Shea and Scales and guys who've been playing more regularly, and all of these things. But it's I think people deserve to play. Obviously, Mark Sykes been in the squad a good long time. He's playing regularly at Bristol City. Got an opportunity tonight. Mikey Johnson's first start tonight. So the goalkeepers, Mark Travers, hasn't had a minute in 2 years, and yet he's been every single day comes in and trains brilliantly. So the goalkeepers are three very good goalkeepers there, who will compete with each other over time, I'm sure. So I think I felt that it was right. Felt it was right, even though again probably get out with a win, and like even though Andrew Abadema hasn't played in a while, and we selected him because he needs to play for Ireland, having had such a great intro and then the setback, and that game is just going to really stand to him in the future for his next international appearance. Even though we tired in the last half hour, he hasn't been playing, but we'd use the substitutes. So I think so there was a lot of highs, but I'll end the sentence because I'm just meandering really. I'm talking about, I'm going from one thing to another without giving you a concise answer. So I think there has been a lot of highs. Every win I've enjoyed, and a lot of the results a lot of performances have been just fell short. Just fell short in some of them.
Good job with the organisation. Would you need a clean break if
I don't see any other position like I'm there. To be honest, everything is failed, and I'm a manager. I see myself as a coach, and a coach who loves the game, loves working with players, constantly driven to achieve things. So I certainly, if the decision is made, I think if that decision is made, I see myself continuing as a manager, head coach.